Have you ever found yourself waiting for something, feeling stuck, frustrated, and unsure of what's coming next? What if I told you that the waiting is not a waste but a powerful moment where Allah is working on your behalf? In the silence, in the stillness, Allah is shaping your future, preparing you for something greater than you could ever imagine. Today, let's dive into the truth that in your waiting, Allah is making things happen for you. All you need to do is trust His plan and embrace the process. 1. Waiting is not wasting. Waiting doesn't mean you're wasting time. In fact, some of the most valuable moments in life are those spent in patience. We often feel frustrated when things aren't happening the way we want them to, but it's important to remember that Allah's plan works on His perfect timing, not ours. Your waiting is actually part of a bigger plan, even if it feels like nothing is moving forward. Think of it like a seed buried deep in the soil. On the surface, it may seem like nothing is happening, it's just sitting there. But beneath the surface, the seed is growing roots, gathering strength, and preparing to sprout when the time is right. What we perceive as waiting is actually preparation. Allah is shaping you, building your strength, and positioning you for what's to come. So trust that every moment you spend waiting is not wasted but is an essential part of your growth. Allah is closer to you than you realize, guiding and nurturing you even when you can't see it. Remember, as Allah says in the Quran, "And we have certainly created man, and we know what his soul whispers to him, and we are closer to him than his jugular vein." Quran 50:16. Allah knows everything you're going through, and He is with you every step of the way, even in the silence of your waiting. 2. Allah's wisdom in delays. Delays in life aren't always setbacks or signs that things are going wrong. Sometimes they are actually part of Allah's perfect plan, meant to protect you or prepare you for something even better. Allah's wisdom is beyond our understanding, and we may not always see the reasons behind the delays we experience. It's easy to get frustrated or anxious when things don't happen on our timeline, but we must remember that Allah knows what's best for us. What might seem like a delay is often a sign that Allah is setting things in place for something greater. He is the best of planners, and what He has planned for you is far better than what you could imagine for yourself. The Quran teaches us that Allah is always looking out for us, even when we don't understand the wisdom behind the delay. And it may be that you dislike something, although it is good for you. Quran 2:16. What seems uncomfortable or unwanted in the moment might actually be Allah's way of guiding you to something better, something you couldn't see at first. So instead of being frustrated or impatient, trust that Allah's timing is always perfect, and that every delay is for your ultimate benefit. Remember, Allah is in control, and even in times of waiting, He is always guiding you toward what's best. 3. Your growth in the waiting period. At first glance, waiting can feel like an incredibly frustrating and unproductive time. We live in a world that values speed and instant results, where we often measure our worth by how quickly we can achieve goals or make progress. But in reality, waiting is far from a waste of time. It is one of the most powerful and transformative periods in your life. During the waiting period, you are being prepared for something far greater than what you can imagine right now. This time is not about doing nothing, it's about growing in ways that might not be visible yet, but are absolutely necessary for the future that Allah has planned for you. Consider the process of planting a tree. You don't see much change above ground, but below the surface, the roots are expanding and growing deep into the earth. This is exactly how the waiting period works in your life. You may not see any immediate results or changes, but under the surface, Allah is working on your internal growth. He is nurturing your patience, building your character, and strengthening your ability to handle what's to come. Just like a seed growing into a mighty tree, this process requires time, and it can't be rushed. When you're waiting, it's easy to feel like you're stuck or stagnant. You might wonder why things aren't happening as fast as you want them to, or why you seem to be in the same place despite your best efforts. But the truth is, growth isn't always immediate or visible. Just as a tree needs time to take root and grow strong, you too need time to grow. Waiting doesn't mean you're not progressing, it simply means that you are being shaped, refined, and strengthened in ways that are preparing you for your next phase in life. Allah uses these moments to help you grow in patience, faith, and resilience. The waiting period is also a time for deep internal work. While you might be focused on external goals such as career, relationships, or personal achievements, this period is an opportunity for you to work on your inner self. It's a chance to reflect on who you are, who you want to become, and how you can align your actions with your faith. In this quiet space, you can deepen your relationship with Allah, strengthen your belief in His wisdom, and learn to trust His timing. You may not see the external results yet, but internally your soul is being nurtured and prepared for the blessings that will come. During this time, your faith is being tested and refined. It's easy to trust Allah when everything is going well, but true growth comes in moments of waiting, uncertainty, and challenge. You may feel like you're waiting for something important to break through, a new opportunity, or a sign that things are moving forward. But in reality, Allah is preparing you to be ready for those blessings when they come. He is preparing your heart and mind, teaching you to trust Him more deeply and rely on His timing rather than your own. It's in the waiting that you develop the patience and resilience needed to handle the challenges that lie ahead. One of the greatest lessons of the waiting period is the realization that you don't need to rush the process. So much of life is about timing, learning to recognize that everything unfolds according to a plan far greater than our own. You don't need to force things or try to make them happen on your own. Instead, embrace the stillness of the waiting period, trusting that Allah is working behind the scenes to align everything in your life in perfect harmony. The more you learn to be patient and content in the waiting, the more prepared you will be for the blessings that Allah has in store for you. The Quran reminds us that growth, transformation, and provision come from Allah alone, and His plan for us is always best. Do not kill your children for fear of poverty. We provide for them and for you. Surely killing them is a heinous sin. Quran 17:31. In this verse, Allah reassures us that He is the ultimate provider and that even when we are uncertain about the future, we can trust that He will provide for us in the best way possible. The waiting period is part of His provision for us, giving us the space to grow, reflect, and align ourselves with His will. Everything you need is already on its way to you, but you must trust that the waiting is not in vain. It is shaping you into the person who will receive and appreciate the blessings when they come. Allah is never in a hurry, but He is always on time. Your growth during the waiting period is part of His divine plan for you. Remember, growth is not just about achieving external success, it's about becoming the best version of yourself, one who is ready to handle the greatness Allah is preparing for you. Trust in the process, trust in the timing, and trust that every moment spent in patience is making you stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the blessings that await you. When you can find peace within yourself, regardless of the external circumstances, you open yourself up to Allah's wisdom and divine timing. This is a key element of faith, knowing that even in the moments of uncertainty, Allah is in control, and everything is unfolding as it should. So when you find yourself in a period of silence or waiting, don't rush to fill that space with noise or distractions. Allow it to be a time of growth, a time where Allah is quietly working behind the scenes, preparing you for what's to come. Trust that His plan is in motion, and the silence is part of the process. Just as a seed needs time in the dark soil to grow strong before it rises into the light, you too are being nurtured in ways that may not be visible but are necessary for your future. Remember, when you trust the process, even in silence, you're allowing Allah to do His work without interference. This is where true growth happens, when you let go, surrender to His will, and have faith that He knows what is best for you, even when the way forward isn't clear. The silence is not the absence of progress, it is the foundation of transformation. Trust that every moment of stillness is preparing you for something greater. 5. Stay active while you wait. Waiting doesn't mean that you have to sit back and do nothing, far from it. While Allah will work behind the scenes to prepare the right opportunities for you, it's important to stay active and continue striving toward your goals. Patience in the waiting period doesn't require you to be passive. It calls for active engagement, a willingness to grow, and a commitment to making the most of the time you have now, even before the outcome becomes clear. Staying active during times of waiting doesn't mean rushing things or forcing outcomes. It means continuing to move forward, even if it feels like you're moving slowly. It's about making progress, however small, in the direction of your goals and trusting that every step, no matter how small, is part of the journey. Allah does not reward laziness, but He rewards those who continue to put in the effort and maintain a positive attitude, even when the results are not immediate. Think of waiting as a time to strengthen yourself, develop new skills, and lay the foundation for the future you want. For example, if you're waiting for a new opportunity or change in your life, take this time to learn something new, pick up a book, enroll in a course, or refine a skill that will benefit you in the future. Use this period to develop yourself so that when the opportunity does come, you're ready for it. Allah helps those who help themselves, and by staying active you are showing your readiness to receive what He has prepared for you. It's also important to stay active in your faith. Waiting is an opportunity to strengthen your connection with Allah. Engage in regular prayer and reflect on the blessings you already have. The act of staying spiritually active, whether through additional acts of worship, charity, or gratitude, deepens your relationship with Allah and opens your heart to His guidance. In the Quran, Allah reminds us to remain steadfast in our faith and trust in His plan. And we have certainly created man, and we know what his soul whispers to him, and we are closer to him than his jugular vein. Quran 50:16. While you wait, trust that Allah is closer to you than you can imagine, guiding you and answering your prayers in ways you may not see yet. The waiting period is also a great time for personal reflection and self-improvement. Reflect on your thoughts, actions, and goals. Ask yourself, what can I improve about myself? How can I become the person I need to be to fulfill my purpose? The work you do within yourself during this waiting period is just as important as any external achievement. As you grow and evolve, you create the right energy and mindset to attract the opportunities Allah is preparing for you. While you wait, make sure you're actively seeking ways to serve others. The act of giving, helping, and showing kindness to others can be incredibly rewarding, and it often opens doors for us when we least expect it. Helping those around you during your waiting period may not only create a sense of purpose but might also lead to unexpected blessings from Allah. Remember, waiting is not an excuse to become passive. It's a time for personal growth, learning, and service. Continue to invest in yourself, your relationships, and your spiritual well-being, knowing that Allah is using this time to prepare you for what's to come. In doing so, you'll be ready to receive the blessings and opportunities that are heading your way. The Quran reminds us, "And those who strive for us, we will surely guide them to our ways, and indeed Allah is with the doers of good." Quran 29:69. While you wait, keep striving. Your actions will bring you closer to the path Allah has set for you, and your efforts will never go unnoticed. 6. The blessing of patience. Patience is often seen as a difficult virtue to cultivate, especially in a world that thrives on instant gratification. We are surrounded by messages telling us that we should always be in a hurry, that things should happen quickly, and that we must always be achieving something. But in Islam, patience sabr is not just a passive waiting, it's a powerful tool that can transform our lives. In fact, Allah tells us that patience is a blessing, a quality that brings us closer to Him and to the peace we seek. Patience is not simply about enduring hardships or waiting for things to happen. It is about trusting Allah's timing, even when we don't fully understand the reason for the delay. It's the ability to remain calm and composed, knowing that Allah has a plan for us, even in times of uncertainty. The Quran tells us, "O you who have believed, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient." Quran 2:153. This verse reminds us that patience is not something we practice alone. Allah is with us, supporting us in our moments of struggle and waiting. His presence and guidance are a constant reminder that we are never truly alone in our hardships. Patience is a form of surrender not to the difficulty but to Allah's divine will. When we exercise patience, we acknowledge that we do not have control over everything, but we place our trust in the one who does. It is an active form of faith, where we believe that Allah is shaping our journey and that everything is happening for a reason. Each moment of patience is a moment of faith that things will unfold in the best way, at the perfect time, according to Allah's will. Patience doesn't just build strength in the face of adversity, it builds a deep inner peace. When we are patient, we are not only enduring the waiting process but also allowing our hearts to be at peace with Allah's plan. The Quran teaches us that the reward for patience is great, often beyond what we can imagine. So be patient. Indeed, the promise of Allah is truth. Quran 30:60. This verse encourages us to remain patient because we know that Allah's promises are true. If we continue to trust in Him and maintain our patience, we will ultimately see the fruits of our perseverance. Patience, according to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is a true sign of strength. He said, "Whoever shows patience, Allah will make them patient. No one is given a gift better and more comprehensive than patience." Sahih Bukhari. This hadith reminds us that patience is a gift that Allah bestows upon those who strive to remain steadfast in their faith. It is a gift that brings inner strength, emotional peace, and spiritual growth. As you wait for what is meant for you, Remember that every moment of patience is not only bringing you closer to your goal, but is also strengthening your connection to Allah. Stop worrying. Let go of the need to control everything. Allah is already making things happen for you. All you have to do is trust His timing, embrace the process, and have faith that everything is unfolding as it should. Allah's plan is greater than any plan we could ever make. You are exactly where you're meant to be, and in the waiting, Allah is preparing you for something amazing. Remember, when you stop worrying and place your trust in Allah, peace will follow. If you found peace in this message, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay calm and trust that Allah's plan is always at work in your life.